I'm Sharon Castillo, and welcome to Leader Snacks, where we have snackable, bite-sized content about leadership topics that are relevant for you, your organization, or that other leader you know who needs some work. So today we're going to dive in and talk about active listening for leaders. Can I just give a little piece of advice? Shut up. I know. What? How would you tell me to shut up? But here's what I mean by that. As leaders, we have a tendency to overcompensate and fill in the blanks. We talk more than we listen. So the idea, the advice would be to flip them. Listen more than you talk. I know it's difficult because we move into consultation mode as a leader. I know the right answer. I know the way to go. I know the goals that we have set. I know what you need to do to fix whatever is wrong. But it's also important as a leader to hear what's in the minds of the people on your team. If you're always telling them what to do, telling them where to go, telling them how to fix it, giving them the solution, then they never grow, they never develop, and they're always knocking on your door. And then guess who's frustrated? You. So, listen more than you talk. Ask more than you tell. Give folks an opportunity to express, to think, to work that muscle that's known as their brain, because it can be great and amazing. Example, something's going on at work and you walk in and you tell a person, hey, so this is what we can do, here's the route we should go. Next time, try this. Make a statement and ask, so tell me, employee, what do you think? How should we handle it? I'd like to hear your ideas. Now here's a tip. Make sure you have something planned or prepared. But when I say shut up, I mean this. Be comfortable with silence. Because you know what? Sometimes the first response is, well, I don't know, or what do you think, boss? And they try to toss it right back at you. So instead, ask a question and shut up. Like this. Here is the moment when most leaders would jump in. If the person they ask a question to doesn't know what to say or it looks like they're floundering, then we'll say, well, what do you think about this? Or could you think this? Or how about we do this? Next time, don't do it. Give them a chance. Now, I would say maybe about 90 seconds, and that feels like a long time. But if you can shut up for about 90 seconds, then they'll come up with something. Fingers crossed. So with this thought or notion of active listening, it's important to know, what does it look like? So here's a few tips or ideas that you can implement or use in that regard. Number one, take notes. Have a notepad with you all the time, even something small that you can fit in a pocket while you're traveling or moving about the office. Take notes when you're listening to someone, because then you're focused on the content and not other things that are going on. Second thing, paraphrase what you wrote down. But when you do that, make sure you use you statements. Sound something like, all right, Drew, so you said, etc. You believe, you think, you feel, things of that nature where it acknowledges what the other person said and you're trying to make sure you understand. Number three, and not in this order, but make sure you've turned away from other activities, like not facing the door or the walkway where other folks go by. You're not still looking at your computer or the report and nodding your head saying, I have time, what's going on? So make eye contact, that's pretty important, we would say. And then lastly, and I think we miss this one often, is to use empathetic listening skills. What does that mean? Acknowledge emotions. That doesn't mean it's a cry fest and it's, all right, let me give you some tissue. What that does mean is if you see a person that's agitated, part of active listening is acknowledging that agitation, acknowledging that frustration instead of skipping right over it. If they come in and they're on 10, let's say with anger, then you can mention, you know, John, I can tell that you're pretty upset right now. John, I can see that you're bothered by what's going on. Let's talk about it. So active listening is employing all of who you are. It's your mental attention, it's the emotional attention. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about emotional intelligence in that regard. Taking notes, paraphrasing what's going on to make sure you have a grasp before you try to offer any type of information. Again, it's listening. And during that time, again, that's when we as leaders have to learn to shut up. So those are a few tips on how to actively listen. So that's the snack for today. Shut up and listen. Ask more than you tell. And the next time you're going to volunteer some information, just switch it around into a question instead and see how that works out for you. There's your challenge for the week. See you next time.